Facts panel is often treated as the ultimate source of truth. We have been conditioned to scan for calories, grams of sugar, and the presence of natural ingredients. However, as we move through 2026, a massive gap has emerged between what is legally required on a label and what is actually happening inside our food. The reality of industrial food production is that the most significant health impacts, how a food affects your hormones, your gut microbiome, and your long-term cellular health, are invisible. Food labels are a snapshot of chemistry, but they are not a map of biology. From incidental additives that are not required to be listed, to the way processing changes how your body absorbs calories, there is a hidden world of information that food manufacturers are not sharing. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great, thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. This report uncovers the critical details that food labels will not show you about your food, exposing the loopholes and label engineering tactics used by major brands today. 1. The zero loophole, chemical rounding. The most common deception on a food label is the use of rounding. According to FDA guidelines that remain in place for 2026, if a product contains less than 0.5 grams of a specific nutrient per serving, the manufacturer can legally round that number down to 0. The trans fat trap. Many processed snacks at Target still contain partially hydrogenated oils. If the amount is 0.49 grams per serving, the label will proudly display 0G trans fat. If you eat 3 servings, you have consumed nearly 1.5 grams of an inflammatory fat that has no safe upper limit for human consumption. Calorie rounding. A product with 4 calories per serving can be labeled as 0 calories. This is how calorie-free cooking sprays and sweeteners can add up to hundreds of uncounted calories over a week of use. 2. Incidental additives, the processing aids. Food labels only show what is in the final product as an intentional ingredient. They do not show the chemicals used to process the food. These are known as incidental additives or processing aids, and they are invisible to the consumer. Hexane in cooking oils. Many natural vegetable oils at Safeway are extracted from seeds using hexane, a neurotoxic solvent. Because the hexane is evaporated off, mostly, it is not listed as an ingredient, even though trace amounts often remain. Anti-foaming agents. When fruit juices or syrups are bottled at high speeds, manufacturers often use dimethyl polysiloxane, a type of silicone, to prevent foaming. Since it is considered a processing aid, you will never see it on the label of your 100% pure juice. Clarifying agents. Many clear fruit juices and wines are processed using bentonite clay, gelatin, or even fish bladders, isinglass, to remove cloudiness. These filters are not required to be labeled because they are removed before packaging. 3. The glycemic response, beyond total carbs. The label shows you total carbohydrates and fiber, but it doesn't show you the glycemic load, how fast that food turns into sugar in your blood. Acellular versus cellular carbs. A label won't tell you if the flour in your bread has been pulverized so finely that it behaves like pure glucose. 2 products can have 30 grams of carbs, but one might spike your insulin by 300% more than the other based on the particle size and heat used during processing. The maltodextrin secret. Maltodextrin is a common thickener in healthy protein shakes. It is technically a complex carbohydrate, so it doesn't count as sugar on the label. However, it has a glycemic index higher than table sugar, meaning it spikes your blood sugar faster than a spoonful of white sugar would. 4. Bioavailability, what you eat versus what you absorb. A label might claim 20% of your daily value of iron, but it won't tell you that the form of iron used is virtually impossible for your body to absorb. Synthetic fortification. Many cereals at Publix are fortified with metallic iron filings or synthetic vitamins that lack the cofactors found in real food. Your body may only absorb 2% to 5% of these nutrients, while the rest can actually irritate the gut lining or feed bad bacteria. Protein quality. The label lists grams of protein, but it doesn't distinguish between high-quality whey protein and low-quality collagen, fillers, or wheat gluten, which lack the essential amino acids needed for muscle repair. 5. Proprietary blends. Under current laws, a company can group up to 100 different chemicals under the umbrella of a single natural flavor. These can include solvents, preservatives, and flavor enhancers like MSG derivatives that trigger addictive eating patterns. The source versus the chemical. Natural simply means the original molecule came from something found in nature, like a bark or a fruit. It does not mean the final chemical created in a lab is healthy or natural in the way a consumer understands the word. 6. Satiety and the hyperpalatability factor. The most dangerous thing a label won't tell you is how a food affects your brain's hunger signals. Ultra-processed foods are engineered to hit the bliss point, a specific ratio of salt, sugar, and fat that overrides your stomach's ability to say, "I'm full." Hormonal disruption. These foods don't trigger the release of leptin, the fullness hormone, the same way whole foods do. You can consume 1,000 calories of processed chips and still feel hungry because your brain never received the satiety signal. The texture trap. Foods that are engineered to melt in your mouth, like certain puffs or crackers, deceive the brain into thinking you are consuming fewer calories than you actually are, leading to effortless overeating. 7. The microplastic and PFAS invisible ingredient. In 2026, one of the most significant concerns for health-conscious shoppers at chains like Whole Foods and Kroger isn't an ingredient on the list, but the container itself. Food labels are not required to disclose the presence of chemicals that migrate from the packaging into the food. PFAS, Forever Chemicals' many eco-friendly or grease-resistant food wraps and paper bowls are treated with per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS. These chemicals are linked to endocrine disruption and immune system suppression. Because they are part of the packaging, they never appear on the ingredient list, even though they leach into hot or fatty foods. Phthalates and BPA, plastic containers, especially those used for high-fat foods like olive oil or peanut butter, can leach phthalates, chemicals used to make plastic flexible. These act as obesogens, interfering with metabolic signaling and potentially contributing to weight gain regardless of the calorie count on the label. Nanoplastics in bottled liquids. Research in 2026 has revealed that bottled water and sodas contain hundreds of thousands of nanoplastic particles per liter. These are small enough to enter the human bloodstream and cross the blood-brain barrier, yet no label currently provides a plastic count for consumer safety. 8. Pesticide residues and inert ingredients. If you are buying non-organic produce or grains at Walmart or Publix, the label might tell you the origin of the crop, but it will never disclose the chemical load it carries. The glyphosate gap. Many wheat-based products and oats are sprayed with glyphosate, Roundup, as a desiccant right before harvest to dry the crop faster. This results in high residues in the final product. While the label lists oats, it doesn't mention the parts per billion of herbicides that may be disrupting your gut bacteria. The inert deception. Pesticide formulations contain inert ingredients, solvents, and surfactants that help the active chemicals stick to the plant. Some of these inerts are more toxic to human cells than the pesticide itself, yet they are shielded by trade secret laws and are never disclosed to the public or listed on any consumer label. 9. Antibiotic resistance and growth promoters. When you look at a package of meat at Safeway, the label provides the fat content and the weight, but it obscures the biochemical history of the animal. Subtherapeutic antibiotics. Even if a label doesn't say antibiotic-free, it won't tell you if the animal was fed low doses of antibiotics its entire life to promote rapid growth. This practice contributes to the rise of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which can remain on the meat's surface and transfer to your kitchen counters. Ractopamine. In the U.S. pork industry, the growth-promoting drug ractopamine is often used to lean out the meat. While banned in many other countries, it is legal in the U.S., and there is no requirement for a label to state whether the meat contains residues of this stress hormone-mimicking drug. Developing your X-ray vision as a consumer. As we have explored, the modern food label is less of a transparency tool and more of a curated legal document. It is designed to satisfy regulatory requirements while presenting the product in the most favorable light possible. To truly protect your health in 2026, you must look past the high fiber or no added sugar claims, and understand the industrial processes that the label is designed to hide. The most effective way to avoid these hidden traps is to reduce the steps between the farm and your table and choose a diet where what you see is actually what you get.